Hi everybody, welcome to the chat. Today we have a extra special guest that I am super excited to talk to because he has all kinds of awesome fish from small to large. So just if you want to just introduce yourself and talk about all of the cool stuff that you have, because like I said, your fish room and your collection it's pretty impressive.
Well, hi everyone. I'm Big J. Well, my name's Jared from Big J. It's FISHKEEPER. And yeah, I do keep a very large range of fish from monsters to live bears to like white clouds. I even have what I call my Skittle shrimp tank. I have like every color Neocaridina that I'm just letting it do its thing just because I like all the cool little colors. I have a monster catfish pond on my front porch that literally takes up half of my front porch and fits perfectly.
Perfectly.
And that's funny. Ozzy says I look like Braun Strowman. Everybody tells me that all the time. But yeah. And then I also do a lot of I really am getting big into like the all natural like summer tubs and even tanks, kind of like what LRB does.
Mm-hmm.
I really I think that's pretty cool to let the plants and to do minimal fish that have a very minimal bio load on your tank to let it all exist as an ecosystem. I really that is really cool with me. But then again, I also like my big nasty cichlids that I can't do no plants with, and that will eat any small thing that I'm talking about. And I really I enjoy both because I have, like I was saying, I got little guppies, little planted ecosystems. But then we talk about something like the 120 that you see right there. That fish, that's a flower horn.
Yeah.
And then right underneath it, it's hard to see, but there's a red terror. Underneath there, there's a lionide cichlid. There's also a pair of Vieja cichlids in there. Down here, I have a buttercophii. I have a jaguar cichlid and two RTMs. I also am collecting pollinized cichlids. Right now, I have a collection of 4 of them. And I would like to do a whole Madagascar style tank.
That's
Whatever
awesome.
can't fit in the pollinized mouth. Hopefully, maybe we'll see what happens.
I don't know anything about cichlids, but that sounds amazing too.
Oh yeah, they're all over him right now. He's the monster fish keeper among men.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
All in tanks came up with that one.
Yes, that was great right there.
It's just everything. Like, I was watching your videos, and it just seems like it never ends. Every tub, tank, everything's awesome. Your feeding video with your pond was great, and even your plants in your tubs.
Yes, I enjoy. Like I said, I enjoy a little bit of everything and a lot more of everything. If that makes sense. Like I enjoy breeding. Doesn't matter what it is even if it comes from snails. If I put a couple ram's horn snails in a tub and then come back in 2 months and it's littered with snails, I'm thrilled. Like it makes me feel like like a little kid in a candy store. I don't know what it is. It just I like that when I see my mystery snails. Like a couple weeks ago, I came out into the fish room to turn the lights on. I should have made a video, but I didn't. It was one of those mornings. But I was watching my mystery snail lay a clutch of eggs.
That's cool.
With having as much stuff as that, you get to see a lot of cool stuff. Like
I've always kept snails. I've never not had snails with the fish tank.
A lot of people don't.
I
embrace snails. I embrace them. I love them. All of them, even the pest ones. There's a use for them no matter what you can get. They're detailed cleaners, and when they do get overpopulated, there's ways to get them out that's not too bad.
Do you do anything secret wise or to help with the shells? Do you have any problems with? It seems like overall, all the snail shells are great, but every once in a while, I'll have one that has a little bit more clear of a shell. If that makes sense.
I did have that problem, but what I went and did is, or I didn't went and I just at work, I was looking around and I grabbed, you know how you could buy for like you could buy for African cichlid tanks. It's a buffer, but all it is crushed coral.
Yeah.
And it's little rocks.
Oyster shell stuff that we bought at the feed store.
It's right here. Hold on one second.
Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah.
Oyster shells?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Man, they're popping in.
Oh, yeah.
It's these little rocks that were in the little bag. What I did is for $5, I bought that little bag, and any tank that I had snails in, I grabbed a couple of these rocks and just put it down in the substrate.
And that makes
so over time, it's slowly going to buffer the water and keep the calcium, the pH up, which is calcium, all that, and break down into the science of it, and will help with their shells. That's one of my little tricks I do for any of my mysteries, any snail really. Just throw a couple of these, depending on the size of the tank. You do what you need to do, and it lasts you a very long time and slowly buffers your tank.
That's cool. That's a helpful secret.
Yeah, it's just one of my little secrets I do. I did that because I was having a pH problem in a tank, and I didn't have no wood, no nothing in it. And every time I would do a water change, it would be perfect. A couple days later, test my water pH would be almost on the soft. It would almost reverse.
Because what kind of water do you have?
My water is very, very, actually very neutral here.
Is it neutral?
Yeah, it's really good. Like my water comes out like I don't have no nitrate, no ammonias, no nothing in my water. It comes out really all the way pretty good and about right out of 7.
Oh, well, so you definitely found it. That's a helpful secret then. If it was going just a little soft, I guess.
Yeah, it was just going a little, and I didn't know why, and then I started doing that, and I did jumpstart it by getting a little bit of a buffer too, to help the tank out with. But I did that, and now the main tank that I was having the problem with, where I have majority of all my large, colorful mystery snails, not so much my breeders, just my cool ones, the cool ones, I guess. and now that tank's all in line and everything, so it worked out, and it's working now, and it's working great for these tanks. And when I did that problem, that's when I went around and did everything.
Well, how do you keep your summer tubs? Like, we were kind of talking a little bit before the stream started about how you don't really have air stones or anything in your tubs. And it seems like when I set my tubs up every summer, I always start with a lot of filtration and air stones and all that. And by the end of the summer, I've taken them all out. And the fish, no matter what species it is, it seems like it does do better if it's a little bit more on the stagnant, just no flow side.
Yeah, that's all my tubs. That's how I always done them. I figured if you're gonna pack them with as much plants as possible, like what I do is, and I even if there's any algae, I let it grow. The string algae, the hair algae, let it grow. And I set mine up. When I do set up one of my summer tubs, I usually set it up with water, and then I put a little bit of safe in there.
Okay.
And I put snails. I always put any brand new tank, a tub, even a brand new fish tank. I'm one of those people. I cycle with snails.
Yeah.
That help kickstart it when it's during the process, because it's living and peeing and pooping and eating. That's one of my little things I always do. So I always throw snails in it. Then the next day I throw plants in it, and then I wait for the water to start to turn green, and then I add fish.
Okay. Yeah.
That makes sense.
For my larger tubs, I didn't do it with the smaller tubs this year, but when we got those bigger tubs, I went around the fish room and filled up like a flower vase full of snails from the fish room and just dumped them all in that 300-gallon. And some of them are huge now. But
I got some ramhorn snails out here that are
for the tubs. But
yeah, no.
How long have you been fish keeping in general? Have you been Is it new, or have you been doing it for as long as you can remember.
As long as I remember, I've had some type of something like that. I grew up in the Bay Area, in the San Francisco Bay, and where I lived was 2 blocks from the Bay.
Wow.
So I used to catch stuff as a kid, and a lot of it used to be saltwater stuff or brackish water from the creeks. A lot of crawfish. That was a lot of things I used to keep, read, and then my dad used to come in and yell at me because the house would stink, and there'd be a couple dead crawfish in the tank, and they would be eating it. My dad would come in, I'd be a little kid, and he'd grab the fish tank, throw it outside, and I would go grab it, clean it up, put it back up, and go catch another fish and bring it back. But then like my very first job ever was on a shrimp boat.
Oh wow!
I worked on a shrimp boat catching shrimp, and that was cool. And been fishing my whole life right there. That was like the thing to do. It was go because like where I lived, the stingrays used to run right by the point.
Oh wow!
And so on clockwork, like almost everybody in the town would wrap around the point because catching, I used to be catching stingrays that were like as big as my wingspan. It was awesome.
Wow. Yeah, we just went to the beach for the first time I've ever seen the beach was a handful of weeks ago. But we grew up catching crawdads and stuff in a creek, but we did not see wildlife and scenery like that.
Yeah, see, my creek went to the bay, and then you go, but yeah, it was cool because. And where it was like you could walk waist deep about almost a football field, and then literally it dropped off.
Wow.
To I don't know, who knows how deep. It was the coolest, but like high tide, it wouldn't. You had to wait till low tide to walk out that far. But we would walk out there and you just drop your fishing line, stand there in knee deep water, and you have no line. It just drops all the way down to nothing, and you're just sitting there. And we'd pull in 7-foot sturgeons.
Wow. Yeah, we went somewhere to eat, and I saw them catch like these huge fish just right there off the boat and hang them up. And I was like, that's the biggest fish I've ever seen in my entire life. And they caught that. But I remember growing up, I would always catch stuff too and bring it in the house. And I didn't tell my mom I had I think it was 3 huge catfish. And I wanted to keep them, so I put them in the bathtub, and I didn't tell my mom. So she went to take a shower. She opened it, and I heard the scream. And
that's awesome.
And I'm like, "Sorry, Mom, those are my catfish."
Yeah, redfish, bluefish, 13 watchers, 10 thumbs. Don't forget to nuke that thumbs up button. Yes, absolutely. We got to get this guy up to 1,000.
You have such a good channel that I just wanted to play my part to help you get whatever I can get, because you, like I said, I just can't tell you enough. Your collection is quite impressive, and everything looks well cared for and amazing, and you know your stuff. Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I try, and it's just, I like I said, I like it all. Like even like right now, I'm going through I just recently got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 baby crawfish. Wow. Of the colorful ones, the little baby lobsters.
Oh yeah. Cool.
And then I had 2, but I mistakenly had a stupid moment and put them in with I had a largemouth bass at the time. And I was like, I'll just put them in there for a little bit, and they were red. And they didn't. They didn't last long. Yeah. I'm trying to recreate. I want to try to breed the red, white, and blues. Yeah, or the red, white, and blue, purple crawfish. Mm-hmm. They're awesome to watch. Just go to town. Oh, they're cool. They're cool. I have one. It's a little solid white one. Uh-huh. It's like this big. It's no more than an inch. And that little guy is cool to watch because there's other ones in there that's like 4 times its size, and it's beaten up on them. But I think it's just a little white female. Mm-hmm. How long do you keep your tubs outside for? Because I know your weather is probably a lot warmer than mine. Well, do you try to keep them up year round? Or we're gonna see. We're gonna see how cold it gets this winter. I might do some little DIY insulating with some with a lot of these because you guys that have seen my videos that I do use those styrofoam boxes that we get the shipments in for fish work for some of my tubs, but not all of them hold water. So sometimes I'll bring fish home
and I always bring them home in those styrofoam boxes. And so I have a whole bunch of them sitting here, and which ones that leaked are just sitting over here in a pile. And I'm like, I'm gonna sit there and break all that up and wedge it and enforce and put all that in there, and hopefully fingers crossed. I mean, I know guppies and mollies and swordtails and betas all can do temperature, but and it doesn't get too cold here. I do live in, Bakersfield, California. It's weird.
Yeah. I think we went to Lowe's, and I don't know what it's called. So sorry. But the material that your sunscreen visor in the car that you put in to block the sun, it came in a huge roll.
Yes.
So I bought it, and I was just gonna roll it around the tub. But I have no idea if it'll work or not. But
actually, I know what you're talking about. That might.
You could just take it, wrap it around, and then gorilla tape it, because then you don't have to worry about cutting it to size. Except maybe height wise, but they come in so many different size rolls that's
actually not a bad idea, because
I think it was $20. It wasn't that expensive either, but it's kind of tough. I think we were at Lowe's when we got it, but
yep,
yeah,
you can try that. I don't know what the hell.
I might have to take that, because I don't really
put it on top as a lid, because it's not flimsy, but it's not super sturdy. But you can cut a piece from the top.
The good thing is with a lot of the styrofoam ones and the black tubs, I kept all the lids.
Did you?
So I do have all the lids to all the styrofoam ones and the black tubs, but that still leaves me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
He's counting.
8, 9, 10 of them that I would still have to figure out how to cover. I was just looking, counting.
I was showing him videos of you, and I was like, look at this one. This one's cool. Look at his plant. That's awesome.
Yeah, another one that does really good in these outside tubs is that octopus plant. I can't. The pogo stemma something octopus.
Yeah, that have it in this one behind Jesse's head.
Yeah, I got a nice bundle came in to work, and I took one home, and I was like, I wanted to plant it in one of my tanks, but I was just like, you know what? I think it would look better, the type of plant of looking down on it, looking this way. And so that's why I was like, you know what? I broke it all up and I threw it in a bunch of tubs, and I enjoy looking at it in the tubs a lot.
It seems like everything does better outside. I have a lot more algae. I definitely get algae, because I tried to put it in a spot where it's half shaded, half sun, but it still gets a lot of algae. But is yours shaded?
Yes, I only get probably about an hour of direct sun, and that's probably at around 5 or 6 o'clock at night when the sun's setting over here, because there's a breakthrough in my yard, and it literally hits right there. But it does great. But I do have a lot of algae. Was it yesterday? I pulled out probably. And just one tub though. It was just the actual my blue-green Moscows. In that tub, it's actually the ice chest tub. I don't know if I've pointed that one out. I got literally an ice chest with fish in it. Yes, it's awesome. I love it. But I have the lid to for that one, so it'll be good during all winter. It's perfect temperature. If it's an ice chest, right? Should hold its temperature with the lid on. But yeah, that one had so much of that string algae. I pulled probably a good all of it, just pulling, and I had to separate it from all the plants. It was I probably threw out half of the plants that was in there too, but I just threw in a bunch of the Rotilia red and they're floating, and it's going crazy. So I got that growing crazy on the front porch tank. I did have it growing in both of these tanks, but my crawfish decided to eat it.
Yeah.
So it's okay. But like I said, it's growing like crazy on the front porch tank. I could go take more clippings.
I cannot get the water lettuce and the water hyacinth. How do you pronounce it? Hyacinth. I can't get it to grow. I get it every year. I try so hard.
Here,
it does not.
I'll be right back. I'll show you something.
Okay, go for it. Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, we got Aquafunk in here.
And Ginger's here. Hi. Kaler's Aquatics.
Oh, yeah.
Aquafug. Hi. Welcome.
Oh, yeah. He's bringing us something cool, I guarantee it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You can't get this stuff to grow?
Yeah, I can't get it. It wilts back.
This stuff grows amazing for me.
Yeah.
As you see, look at the root base.
Yeah. That's the reason when I watched your video, I was jealous. I was like, man.
I mean, that's a big handful of.
It is.
That's just one little.
Because you don't fertilize besides just keeping the fish in there.
No fertilizer. Outside tubs don't get nothing. I'll be right back.
Oh, go for it. It's impressive.
I knew he was going to bring something.
Look how beautiful this plant is. I was like, I know.
Aquafunk says, Carrie, I got a bunch of that stuff. Come take it.
Yeah, I don't know, but like I said, the tubs, when they're shaded, but there's a lot of direct sunlight, and I know some of that stuff doesn't like too much.
That's my root system on my water lettuce.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Oh, dropping water lettuce.
I'm half tempted to bring what little scraps I have left inside because they look okay, but they just slowly wilt back, and then they're not okay.
I found out my koi fish don't like eating Sylvania.
They don't?
No. Because the Sylvania is growing crazy in my tubs. That is one of the ones. I mean, it's even going so far where it's over competing the duckweed and killing off the underplants that I put in there and everything too, which is fine. I just moved stuff around because I had guppy grass growing in one of them, and I noticed it was almost completely. It was like breaking apart into little pieces, and so I moved that into a different tub, but. I thinned out a couple of the tubs, 2 of them with the Sylvania. I threw it all into the koi pond day before yesterday.
You really eat everything, so.
I know. I threw it in there the day before yesterday with a bunch of water lettuce, duckweed, and then the Sylvania, and everything's gone except for the Sylvania.
Do you breed your koi too?
They're too small, but if they do, that'd be awesome.
Because you had quite the pond full. It was like a mix of koi and goldfish, right?
Yes, it's mainly, and there's a couple sherbunkins in there.
Oh, yeah. Because I have 4 koi, and then there's one, it's grown up quite nicely, goldfish with them. And then there's a bunch of rosy red minnows in there.
Nice.
But
yeah, I did.
I've never bred them.
Just last night, I put a type of sword, because I had a sword with a little bit of I put a weight on it that I had in one of the tubs that I took out, and I weighted it down and put it in the shallow end of the koi pond, and then put a bunch of crushed brick all the way around it. Built that all the way up around it, and then I dumped a whole bunch of well, not a whole bunch, but a scoop of my Mickey Mouse platies and a scoop of my swordtail fry in there. And so I built them a little nesting area, so hopefully I could get some of those to grow out and be in the pond as well, which I was kind of excited for. You know, I was all playing around, and all the fry are still there this morning. So
good for you.
Do you feel like your swordtails and mollies hold their fry longer than the guppies?
Yes, because I had no fry in neither one of them. I think I had, well, I take that back. There was like 5 or 6, maybe a hand, maybe 10 in each one, a fry. But all the guppies were just shooting them out.
Yes.
But then just recently, they just started unloading.
Okay, because I think I got them. They were calico koi swordtails, but they look just like your koi swordtails from what I look. Yeah. And when I got them from the auction, they were tiny. They were itty bitty, and they're just now getting to where their swords are really coming in nicely. So they're growing up. So they're still pretty young. But the females have looked pregnant forever, and I've always kept like mollies and swordtails, but I've never kept enough to breed them like the guppies, because I've always had guppies growing up. It's the only thing that I really know how to reproduce. Everything else is kind of new. But I knew that it was kind of a myth or something that they did hold fry, but it just seems like it's true.
Yeah, no.
My mollies, they bred last year in the tubs, but I just got one fry and it grew up.
Oh yeah, well, it was crazy because with my Mickey Mouse Molly's I always say that wrong, but my Mickey Mouses, I had them inside in the tank where I now have my Fahaka Puffer. They were in that tank because I just got them. I got one male and 3 females, and they're all different colored. And I did that on purpose, and I put them in that tank, was hoping, and nothing for the longest time. Put them outside, nothing for the longest time, and then I saw like 2 or 3, and then still nothing. And then now, like I said, now that there's probably like 100 of them.
Wow.
And for the koi swordtails, I only saw there. I had my 4. I started out with 1 male and 3 females. Once again, they came in one bag, all 4 of them. We got them shipped in at work, and I was unboxing everything, and I saw them, and I didn't even float them. I just took them and I put them in the back room and said, "These are mine. I'm taking them home."
They're
It was perfect because it was an adult male and an adult female, all a little. Only thing I thought was perfect breeding tub, beautiful, And so I put those, and then somebody not that long ago, probably about a month ago, came in and donated some fish. Well, in there was a really large koi female swordtail. So I took her home, put her, and I not even like 2 weeks after putting her in there, I noticed that's when it really started blowing up. And I don't know if it was because I added something new or just the mixture. It was amazing. Now I got swordtail fry from that are like teenagers, about that big, that are starting to get their swordtail, little tiny, that don't even got color.
Wow. We did get a $5 super chat from Aquafunk. It says, if me and Jesse come down to Florida, I will take you to the dishes where you can get at least 15 different tank aquarium plants all day long. That sounds good.
Yeah, that must be nice. You just go out and pick your own.
Especially
I was gonna say out there in Florida.
I'm jealous. We don't have we have a news store here now. It's about 30-45 minutes away. The last time we went, I got a bunch of pond plants for outside, but I don't have anywhere really that has good selection of plants unless I go to the swap meet when I can. But St. Louis is still an hour, 2 hours away, hour and a half, 2 hours away, and then that news store. But I try to gobble up as much as I can get when I can get my hands on it, because now it's new, because I've always kept guppy tanks and stuff growing up, but it was always with plastic plants. I never had plants. So then I went down the dive of all the live plants that you can get, and I was like, this is cool.
Yeah, that's another thing I'm getting crazy into, is the plants too. But learning all the names to them.
I know. I'm still learning what I have.
I'm with you. I probably know about 1% of what I have.
Yeah, I try to, when I get something, I'll cut the tab off or whatever it comes in, and I have a little drawer that I keep it in, because I won't.
The messed up part about with a lot of the plants I get, because we get bundles from work. We get them shipped in, and they're literally come in labeled in the bag assorted plant bundles.
Wow.
That's it. And I see one that I really like. It took me a while to figure out, because I ended up taking a melon sword. And I really liked it, just the color and the way it looked. I had no clue, and it's growing great. It's doing fantastic in my Episto and White Cloud tank, and doing great. And but yeah, it took me a little while to figure out what it was. But yeah, it's called a melon sword.
Wow. Yeah, it seems like some plants will do really well. They'll take off in one tank, and then I'll put it in another tank, and it won't like that tank.
I have the one tank on the front porch that anything I put in there, it grows. And the Pisto tank's the same way. But other tanks, everything melts away. Like this one tank, I'm trying to do a little 10-gallon with I got a couple guppies and some mystery snails in there right now, and I'm trying to get it really heavily planted. Nothing wants to grow in there. I even tried putting some Val in there, and it doesn't want to grow. I took it right now. I'm trying. I got a nice stem of some crip that I had from work. A nice good root that was starting to sprout a whole bunch of little baby crips on it. So I got that in there and got it kind of, and it looks kind of promising, but we'll see. We'll see.
We understand that.
Do you have any type of favorite substrates, or do you just use the same stuff in all of your tanks, or do you experiment with like, I want to try this one in this tank and this and that?
Yes.
That's what I do too.
And right now my big thing is I like what I've been doing, and I did it. That's the one in the Pisto. The Pisto tank is I did I use play sand, that cheap stuff from Home Depot. I just I take the time to super wash it, but I like the look of it, and I like the grain of it. And I put a layer of that and build kind of my high peaks and everything. And then I take that Amazon soil, the pressed little clay balls, and I use that and I put a thin layer of that, and then I cap that with more play sand.
Okay.
And that's been working really well for me growing plants. And then the tank on the front porch is just like 200 pounds of play sand with root tabs. And then I do use every now and then I do have that aquarium co-op easy green.
Yeah, that's the one.
I use that. I do use that in the Pisto tank, in that tank, and then the tank in my living room that has my my geos, my electric blue acaras, and my Sylvania cichlids. Because I'm growing a bunch of swords and some more of that crip that I was saying with that viney root crip.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool. Well, you're doing a good job. Have you messed around with a dirted tank before? Or
I tried it and I didn't like it.
Yeah, I'm not.
And it
with the one that's behind Jesse, and the plants did great, but now they're starting to like, I needed ads, do something.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of my fault in getting frustrated, and then I scrapped it and just didn't go back to it. It's something I think I want to venture back to, but a little bit bigger tank. Because I attempted it in a 10-gallon and 2 10-gallon tanks, and it just I couldn't get it to stop leaching and turning my and everything coming up, and it kept killing all the fish in there. Couldn't get it. Every time I would put something in there, and I would wait and let the plant start to take, and they would, and I would see new growth, but everything was leaching. I put more sand in it. I did like what Father Fish said. Put more sand. I ended up, and I'm like, if I put any more sand, I'm going to have a 3.5-gallon tank. That's where I was at that point. And so I had to scrap it. And that's why I was like, I scrapped it, and I was like, I'll try it again. Bigger tank. Maybe I just a little bit less dirt, but I only did like that much dirt. And then I had like,
what kind of dirt did you use just regular dirt, or did you use some kind of fancy aquarium dirt?
I used an organic. I actually, it was this. I think it was even recommended by one of the people that were doing it. If I'm not mistaken, like Bob Kaler or Punchy Paints or one of them. I know they like to use clay and all that, but I don't know.
This one that I used, I didn't really know I used it for the crickets. I think it's coconut choir.
Yeah, choir.
I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
And so I just added a brick and added a little bit of water until it was dirt-like. And then I put a bunch of Fluval stratum over it, and it did great. It was tan colored for a while, for about a month. And then it slowly kind of.
We should have capped it with sand.
Yeah. But now it seems like it's lost its potency for the plant. It's kind of getting more and more yellow. So, and then I always watch Father Fish while I get my kids ready for school. So now I'm in this. I was like, Jesse, we have to go get sand.
Yeah, more sand. Yeah, I was listening to him that's what was going to my head when I was seeing all it going, because at first I capped it just enough to cap it, but then it started leaching and everything was going bad. And all right, more sand.
Because my dad always told me, he's like, you just use one type of substrate, you pick your gravel, and we never used sand or dirt. It was mainly just what type of size of petals you can get at the fish store. And he would say no more than 1 inch. All you need is 1 inch. And then we would use our plastic plants and then per fish in there. So it wasn't anything. Even now, like setting all these up, I have to remember it's okay to go a tad bit more. Yeah. So now I'm playing with like using sand or gravel and doing like a lasagna type of thing. So we'll see.
I want to try the cat litter, like what Pam does.
And it's just clay. It makes
it's just clay, but I think it would really do a really good job of trapping, and I wouldn't have that problem of everything leaching through.
Yeah.
And I think that's like brilliant when I heard her talking about that, and I was like, you know what, I should have did that.
Especially because our cat's crazy, and now it's an outside cat, so we have extra litter.
There you go. Yeah, and plus that litter that she uses is that like what $3 bag of litter.
It doesn't seem like it's very expensive. It seems like whatever they're using, I haven't done it yet, but it seems like it's not very expensive, and it's just the clay based.
Yeah, just the clay, nothing in it. Just,
that's all that expensive substrate stuff is clay. So.
And so I'm all about my substrate. Everything that I have ever used is all about a budget. That's why I love my go-to. My go-to is Tractor Supply for the black blasting sand. And Home Depot for the pea gravel and the play sand.
Yeah.
And I know it's all dirty, but hey,
just wash it. Wash it throughout a day. Every time I go outside and check on something else, I'm always out there with the tubs anyway. I'll rinse it, let it sit, rinse it.
I sit there and I get the little nozzle thing, and I'll sit there and I'll push it all the way down to the bottom, and I sit there and spin my hand in a circle. I move all that stuff and let it sit there, and I'll like put a rock underneath one end, so it's kind of the bucket's at an angle, and I'm sitting there. But I don't mind it because it
saves a lot of money.
That, and I like the way the peat gravel looks in a tank because it has all the different natural color like rocks. And especially, I keep a lot of cichlids too, so it works well with them.
Yeah,
rock movers.
Yeah, when I was
younger, tank, like hold on, I could show this real quick. Like this tank. The substrate is just everywhere.
Let's get better how they want it.
You see how it's like all super high? And then it goes low and then back high and then low and then there's nothing over there. That's all those guys.
Yeah. I had them when I was younger. I don't know what I had, but they would every morning I would get up and check on the tank, and it was always rearranged differently.
Well, Kaler's Aquatics hooked us up with everything we know. Walmart brand kitty litter.
Walmart brand $1.
Yep.
29 a pound
for that's 5 pounds.
See, that's look at that, and you could with that 5 pounds, you could probably cap off a decent sized tank too, or a couple small tanks.
Yeah, when we tear down the pool, we always line up with sand underneath it, so it's like a free for all. I'm like, I bought it anyway, so I'm always out there if I need something shoveling up the sand, and I'm like, I'll just buy more next year, and then I'll rinse it out and bring it downstairs, and I'll always have like a 5-gallon bucket ready to go if I need it, just to put it somewhere. But it's like, it's free. It's in the backyard.
Right? Hey, if I had, I would be in. I would have.
I don't know. They're just a regular bag of. There's the small, a medium, and then like the larger rock size that you can get from the hardware store, and that's all use to weight down plants. Sometimes if they want to float up or something, I'll grab a handful and just stick it in there and weight it down.
Yeah.
But it's good to have. But since we just went to the beach for the first time, this tank, it's a 20 long. I put all the shells that I got at the beach and lined it with, it was just the play sand underneath it, and just lined the whole bottom with seashells. See how it does. We'll see. I don't know what I'm going to put in it, but something.
Hey, I've done a tank like that before.
I was like, I don't know what we're gonna do with all these, but I want to take them home.
Yeah, that was my first attempt to do a dirted tank, but that one I didn't do it right. I didn't wet down the dirt before I capped it and filled the tank. And it did the whole. I went to work and came home, and I came back to a big brown chocolate milk tank.
Yeah.
Yep. Been there, had that.
Yeah, that was fun, but I learned from that one. I was like, yeah, I should have. And I was even because I was watching it as I was adding water, and after it filled up, I watched the substrate just do this.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I grabbed a stick and was poking out holes, and I thought it was good. No.
Do you add any botanicals or anything? Do you have any fish that need leaves or anything like that you add or collect? No. I
do. You know the little they're not the acorns, but the little spiky ones,
like gumballs.
They're the little round balls that got all the little spikes on them. They fall.
I think so. Hang on, talk. Let me see if this is. Hang on. I think I got
it's probably a type of sweet gum tree.
Yeah, I'm not 100, but they fall from the tree. And,
do they start out green and then eventually turn brown?
Yep.
And got a million looking little spikes all over them.
Yeah, and they suck to step on.
Yep, and they're really fun to throw at your friends or neighbors that you don't like.
Especially when they're green. Especially when they're green, because you can chuck them.
Oh yeah, they're hard like rocks.
They hurt. Oh, and yeah, especially if you get hit in like this back of the head. Oh yeah, yes, those.
Yep, that's off your sweet. That's a sweet gum tree.
These are horrible to step on, and they're everywhere at my mom's. Well, they was before they cut down the tree, and I was like, they're everywhere. These have to work, but I was curious. I haven't used them yet. Do you do anything with the pokies, or does it snag fins or anything? No.
The only thing I did was boil them, but the only thing I did find out is over time they 100% break down to nothing.
Okay, because it seems like the shrimp really like to graze on. They're not like the fancy.
I have it in my shrimp tank, and my shrimp love it. They go inside of it and come out of it. It's
perfect. Good, because I filled up one of my aquarium box subscription boxes with tons of them.
Yep, I just boiled them. Okay, cool. Out of it, boiled it, and then rinsed it out, and I threw it in a tank.
Yeah, because we're not the fancy catappa leaves that you like, the West Indian ones, but we have a Missouri catappa leaf here. Then I'll get and collect a trash bag full, boil it, and then I'll press them between a board to keep them flat for like 6 months. Just kind of forget about them. And then as I need it, I'll grab one. And the shrimp, they don't last very long at all. Like they'll graze them up quickly. So
shrimp love.
I want to put some in this Carry Tetra tank because I feel like the Tetras need something. It could just be in my head. I don't know.
Yeah. I put those things into my big tank, and I noticed the plecos they're the ones that completely ate it.
Okay.
And they didn't mind the spikes at all. They ate right through those.
Well, good. I'm glad I got some because they've just been sitting there, and I was like, I don't know. I know they'll be good, but it's just, I know when I step on them, it hurts. So I wasn't sure about the fish, but I'm glad I asked you about it, and I had them because, they're just just gumball, sweet gumball.
Yeah, I don't know where I saw it, but I saw it on someone's. I was watching a YouTube video, and I saw it in someone's tank, and I was like, "No way!" There's a tree right down the street because there's I live like a block and a half from Dollar General. So that's where I do a lot. Whenever I need anything, I don't even need to drive.
They built one right by our house too. You could just walk there.
Yeah, it literally is quicker because if I got to drive, I got to back out of my driveway, wrap all the way around the block, and come down and then back around to the Dollar General. Or if I walk, I just shoot catty corner and I'm there.
Yeah.
And so it's quicker to walk. So I always walk. But as I'm walking there at the corner, there's where the stoplights are right there. There's the big tree, and those things are all over the ground everywhere.
Well, good. I'm glad I asked you.
Well, awesome. Now
I was just nervous about it.
Now I know there's more tree species.
Because I was going to take a pair of scissors and just kind of not cut them off, but snip them down a little bit. So I'm glad I asked you if it's less work. I'm more apt to do it if it's less work.
Yeah. What's up?
We got Big Teddy's in the house.
Amber's here. Hi, Thank you for
Big City Beta. Hi.
I think it was Ginger that dropped your link to your channel. But yes, if you haven't, please subscribe to Big J's channel because
almost to that 1K.
You're getting closer.
Yep, I'm getting there. It took me a while just to get over that little 900 hump.
Mm-hmm.
But
how long have you been on YouTube? Because I feel like I've just now.
A little bit over a year, but I've only been really pushing it hard, like within the last like maybe 6 months.
Okay.
And then even my video quality has gotten a lot better because I've been wanting to make it more enjoyable and more personable. More that I'm like not just,
mm-hmm.
yeah. And I focus more on it. Yeah.
I'm still learning. I'm. If you would have told me I would have been on YouTube, I wouldn't have believed you. And I know nothing about anything like putting a video together. So it seems like each year we get a little bit better.
Yeah. And
all the videos that come out, you can tell like we still have the same knowledge, but everybody's videos get more and more entertaining, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's a learning curve when you first get on YouTube, at least for me. I didn't know about sound and video and
yeah, that's all still part. I'm still like learning hard, because the whole computers and even setting this up, it took me a while to figure it out. That's why I didn't stream for the longest time. I was like, I don't even know how to.
Yeah, I didn't
attempt to try to do that.
One, I was too scared. I was way too scared. I was like, and I just didn't know. It was multi-take addiction when I asked him to be a guest. I was like, I will try to set it up. And I set it up all wrong. And he's like, no, let me help you. And I was like, I appreciate you teaching me.
Yeah.
So he's the one in Down the Wormhole. I was a guest on her channel and she kind of pushed me into it without knowing she did it. And I really appreciate it because she kind of gave me that initial, if I say yes, I have to do it.
Yeah. I had a couple of those as well. It was a mixture of Kaler's Aquatics with his comments in all my videos when I first started because he liked my content and everything, he liked the fish that I had pretty much. And he thought it was cool that I worked at a fish store too. And he told me just keep on going. And then Fish Room Fever, James, he helped me a lot. I was a guest on his stream a couple times way long ago, and watching him and talking to him early on because there was a lot where me and him were just messaging. I was throwing ideas and bouncing stuff off, and he helped me a lot too.
Yeah, everybody's been so helpful. If you don't know how to do something and you want to do it, just reach out and someone will help you.
Yeah, somebody will help you. Or they know somebody. They're like, oh, yeah, hang on just a second. Let me get hold of such and such. I'll fix this for you.
Yeah. I still get nervous, even filming videos, and I'm so far behind. So when I do film videos, but it's not as bad. It seems like live's a lot more fun than I had thought that it would be. Yeah. So I'm glad that
I get too excited.
I get to talk to you.
I get too excited when I film videos, and I when I get excited, I fumble over my words and
start talking fast. Start thinking of everything I want to say at one time instead of sentences at the time.
Yes, and I do a lot. I got to stop with the yeah, and like what you said, just focus on a sentence and then move on. And but other than that, I just get too excited because at first I was nervous, didn't know. And then now it's I get a little thrill out of making the video, and then because now I figured out where I could make my video and completely upload it and get my thumbnail all set and have it where I could put it to YouTube or have it available for everybody to see it when I want to. I finally figured that out, and I think that is awesome.
Yeah, there's definitely a learning curve, and if you can get past that and just keep going, whether it's a video a week or a month, just keep going. It's worth it because
now and
right.
I'm doing a lot of where I film a lot of my videos in 2 or 3 days with that'll cover a good week or so of videos, and then just put them out when I want to, and then just film a bunch more. because to keep up with a lot of my stuff, if I want to share it, like if I want to continue to show the growth of everything, I'm going to have to keep pumping out a lot of videos. I have 47 fish tanks, counting tubs.
Yeah, you have enough. Like it's every tub you have or aquarium. It's like, that's cool.
Well, he's going to have B-roll footage for years.
Because where do you get all your monster fish for your pond? Do you get them from the store, or do you just
Most of them are what I call my rescues. Because a lot of them will come to the store and they'll sit at the store for a very long time, and like it's not, but you don't hear a lot of this side of this story because I work on the side of the fish store, and a lot of those monster fish that a lot of people bring in, that a lot of times they're not in the best of health when they get brought in, because the person is bringing them in because they're having a hard time taking care of them.
Yeah, they're there for a reason.
I'm not saying all the time, I'm just saying typical. And unfortunately, sometimes they don't last very long at our fish store. And if someone doesn't come and buy it and feed it and give it some good quality water, like in a big pond and not 100, because all we have at the store, our biggest tank is a 120-gallon tank. And for a foot long, let's say for a foot long or a foot and a half long red-tailed catfish, that's not good for him. And him coming probably out of a small, like a tank, and then, unfortunately they do die. And so a lot of mine, other than the tiger shovel nose now, I bought him as a baby, but all those other ones, other than the Oscars, were all what I call my rescues.
I've been on a couple fish tank, like, I don't know, through the years, I've seen some in businesses or whatever, friends' house through the years, and they're not in the best condition tank wise, like the water hasn't been changed for a while, but they've been in there for so long that if you tried to take it out or do like a drastic water change to help, that it almost makes it, they're not good with that either. So
a lot of those fish, they grow the immunity, especially like large catfish, even large Oscars, a lot of large cichlids in general.
The ones that we see here a lot are plecos. They just outgrew and they can't get a bigger tank. So the only ones that we see that are kind of on the larger size around here that you could put in a pond like yours would be plecos. We see a lot of but I've never walked into anywhere and saw a catfish the size like yours, except going to like a aquarium.
We have them all the time. Right now we have at work, we have a Beischer that is probably about 19 inches. Big old one. But then we have a peacock bass. He's probably, and then we also have a golden clown knife. That's probably a good 24, a little bit, maybe even a little bit bigger. We do a lot of monster fish.
Those knife fish are awesome. I had one before.
They're cool. The way they move is awesome.
Yes. I got it. It had to come with the arowana. You couldn't buy one or the other. You had to buy both. But then I had a pleco in there, and the pleco is more aggressive than anything. And it's the pleco that it didn't make it.
Yeah.
But I was kind of shocked how much I really I thought for sure I'd like the arowana way more, and I still do. But that knife fish, when I had it, was the one that I found myself watching the most.
Yeah,
the black featherfin knife fish. I was sad. I was really sad. I was like,
I bet. Yeah, those are a nice one. Another, we just recently had I sold it 2 weeks ago. We had a pom knife.
Oh,
which that one's pretty cool. He wasn't too bad. He was probably about 14 inches. That one was really cool. He was. I don't know. It made me start thinking, man. I'd like to either get a pom knife or even go even a little bit crazier and convert the 120 and go get me a Abba. What are they called? The Abba or something knife. The really large, aggressive one that has the top. They're because most of the knives, their bottom
Uh-huh.
has that little wiggle. Theirs it has it on the top.
That's cool. They're just awesome fish, and I had no idea that they even existed until I was like, wow.
Yeah, and those like we always see those clown knives and as like a little delicate fish, but in the wild, they're a super aggressive, fast predator fish.
Mm-hmm.
And they're actually that little tiny mouth that they have in it on them isn't very little.
It was an aggressive feeder for sure. Like
opens up to a big old hatch.
Yeah, because it fed on anything the arowana ate, and happy to participate.
I bet, yeah, because I do most of the feeding at work. I'm in charge because I open the store. Tuesday through Friday I open, and I open and close on those days. But I mainly do the opening when I'm just there for closing. I don't do a lot of the closings, but yeah. But part of that is I do all the feeding, and that's like my favorite part.
Mm-hmm. It's an entertaining time. It's definitely a favorite time to watch.
Zen Ginger brings up a good point. I feel like for some certain fish, there should be a video and a certificate of completion of a course. Yeah, because when you get into the monster fish, if you don't already have the setup or know what you're doing, you don't need to be taking on that, especially for somebody that's like a first-time hobbyist or something.
Yes. I talk so many people out of monster fish all day long, and it's not because I want to, and it's like I want to make the set because part of my job is to do the sales, but I also got to look out. I don't have to, but I feel as me being a fish keeper and a hobbyist, my best interest is for the fish.
Yeah.
And the people, I do want to make them happy so they come back to the store and have a good experience. So maybe one day they could be a fish keeper or just enjoy having multiple tanks and spread this wonderful thing that we have going on with keeping fish. And but at the same time, like I have these this young couple, they were getting they got 2 black ghost knives, they got 2 bala sharks, and then they walked over to the other side and they saw the baby red tails, and they're like, "Can I get 2 of those?" And I was like, "Do you know what that fish is right there?" And they were like, "No."
You even have a clue.
They were like, "No." They were like, "No." I was all, "Yeah, that's a baby red tail." And they're like, "Oh yeah, that sounds cool." And I was like, "No, that's a baby monster." And I looked at his girlfriend, because he was a kind of a tall, skinnier guy, and she was just a kind of a littler, petite girl. And I looked at him and I looked at her and I was all, "Dude, that catfish would get big enough to eat her." Yeah. I was all, in the wild, they get that big. And he was like, his eyes lit up and he's all, "Never mind."
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
some is these cute little fish, and then you don't have a.
No, and I even told him too. I was like, the bala shark, what you got is going to get really big. It's going to take a while, but he is a gentle giant. But he is going to get, So I was like, whatever. And they were like, "Oh, we've got a 50-gallon tank." I was like, "Okay, that'll work for now." Still, and when they left, though, they were very thankful. But but yeah, they come. People just come in. They want everything, and luckily, they kind of like took the advice, because some people were like, "Oh, I'll just get it.
Yeah,
it's okay. 50-gallon." And I've heard it say, "Oh, I got a big enough tank. It's 50-gallon. I'm like, "Dude, you don't know." Okay, I'll see you in 6 months. You'll be bringing that fish back saying, "It outgrew my tank and it ate everything."
Well, when I got my silver arowana, they told me it would be okay in a 20 long for 2 years. And it was little bitty at the time. I kept it in there for probably, no joke, maybe 4 months, if that, before then I moved it to the 55. And that only lasted for a few months. And then
one of the fastest growing fish.
And we kept moving it up. Yeah. And if you're not in the hobby to be willing to either move it up or know when you got to say, either I got to have a pond like you, or I'm going to have to give it to somebody that does have a pond like you for the health of the fish.
Because I knew it was fast growing, but I didn't think it'd be that, Yeah. But now it's in 180 gallon, and it's still getting to the point where because it eats so well that even that, I'm like, I think it's too small now. He can still turn. He still has lots of room, but I'm like, they're great fish. He's ornery, but
yeah, I know. Like that's like I because I helped a buddy of mine. We met through the Facebook, one of the Facebook apps, and it was and he had 2 Oscars that he needed to be rehomed. I took his Oscars and I put him in the pond, and I ended up giving them back to him because when he came over, he saw my pond, and he was like, "Whoa, you can do that?" And and then after that, me and him became really good friends after that, and we talked, and I helped him set up a pond, the same exact pond as mine. He has same exact setup, almost the same fish. He has a couple different fish, but he has a large arowana in his. But I'm talking about a like this arowana is about 3.5 foot long and probably about
holy smoke.
He's I'm talking. Only reason why I know how big he is because we moved him from the tank into a tub, and that sucker jumped out the tub, pushed the lid off, and I had
get back in there.
Yeah. Hang on, little buddy.
And he was a solid unit. That was a big fish. And Donald's fishing vibes, no, that is not right. They could grow bigger than that. It just depends on their environment.
Yep, that's what I was getting ready to ask. I said we had a question that if 15 inches max, and I was like, that doesn't sound right to me, but
they could get. It also depends on the sex because the males are long. Males are long and skinny, and the females are shorter and fatter.
Nice to know.
Well, there we go.
Well,
got his question solved.
Because do you know if Joseph's streaming today?
I do not know.
Well, in our last few minute or so, do you have anything coming out? Anything you want to mention? If you haven't already, go subscribe to his channel.
Yeah, I'm just on that road to 1K, and when I do hit 1K, I am going to do a large giveaway of kind of a viewer's choice of some cool stuff that I have. I'm going to make a big list of a lot of my stuff that I have bred, and I'm going to do kind of like a punchy paint style giveaway, pick a number type, and then I'll have certain things that I'll have like where you could pick multiple people could pick that same item, or like say for like my betas that I bred, I only have like 7 of them. So I only think I'll put 1 on there, or something like that. So there'll only be that, but like if somebody wants mystery snails of like a bag of every single color, because I literally breed every color mystery snail. I could literally I could send out a bag of every color mystery snail.
That's awesome.
I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure you'll cross 1,000 subs very soon because you have.
Sure, that's the only thing, and then just look forward to my videos. I put them out all the time.
Yes, and if you haven't, like I said, go subscribe. Yep. It's a good channel.
Yep, definitely show this guy some love.
Thank you for being here. I feel like I learned so much.
No problem. I appreciate coming up here.
But I will see you guys on Friday for another stream. I believe Kasha is going to be here from Creative Pet Keeping. So I will look forward to talking to her. But again, thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Yep, no problem. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you guys. You can say
Peace.
bye.